The rain came down hard that night, cold, relentless, and almost punishing. A single dad named Daniel pulled his old pickup truck over to the side of the quiet road, wiping fog from the windshield as thunder rolled above the trees. He'd just finished his late shift at the construction site, exhausted and ready to collapse into bed. But then he saw something that made him slam the brakes. Under a flickering streetlight, a young woman in a soaked nurse uniform stood clutching a baby wrapped in a thin pink blanket. Her face was pale, trembling, not just from the cold, but from something deeper. Daniel didn't know it then, but that night, when he opened his truck door for a crying stranger, his life would change forever. He didn't know that she'd lost everything, but somehow, she still carried something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Daniel rushed out of his truck, grabbing his jacket. "Hey! Are you all right?" he shouted through the rain. The nurse turned her head, her eyes wide and red from crying. The baby whimpered softly in her arms. "Please," she whispered, barely audible over the storm. "I just need somewhere dry, just for a minute." Without hesitation, Daniel helped her into his truck. The woman's hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped her keys. He turned up the heater and handed her a towel he kept in the back seat. "Thank you," she murmured. I'm sorry. I didn't know where else to go." "You're lucky I passed by," Daniel said gently, trying to lighten the mood. "What's your name?" "Claire," she said softly, holding the baby closer. "And this is Emma." For a moment, silence filled the cab, only the rain against the roof and the baby's soft breathing. Daniel could tell she hadn't eaten, hadn't slept, and was running on nothing but fear. He drove her to a small diner that stayed open all night. The waitress gave them a corner booth, and as Claire tried to feed the baby, Daniel noticed her hands trembling. Finally, after a few minutes, she broke down. "My house burned down 3 nights ago," she said, her voice cracking. "Everything, gone. My husband passed away last year, and I had no one else. I've been trying to find help, but every door I knocked on was closed. I didn't want to go to a shelter. She wiped her eyes. I just didn't want my baby to see me give up." Daniel's chest tightened. He'd known pain, too. His wife had left when their son, Liam, was 2. It was just him and the boy now. He looked at Claire and saw a reflection of himself years ago, lost, desperate, holding on by a thread. "Listen," he said finally. "You and your baby, you'll stay with me for now. Just until you figure things out. I have a spare room. It's not much, but it's warm, and you won't be out in the rain." Claire stared at him as if he'd just offered her the world. "You don't even know me." "Sometimes," Daniel said quietly, "you don't need to know someone to do what's right." The next morning, Daniel's small farmhouse buzzed with life again. Liam, his 8-year-old son, peeked curiously at the baby in Claire's arms. "She's tiny," he said with wonder. Claire smiled for the first time. "Her name's Emma. She likes people who smile." Days turned into weeks. Claire helped around the house, cooked, and even cared for Liam while Daniel worked long shifts. She told him about her nursing job at the local hospital, how she'd loved helping people, but since the fire, she hadn't been able to return. The hospital thought she'd moved away. One evening, Daniel came home to find Claire sitting on the porch, staring at the sunset. "You okay?" he asked, handing her a cup of tea. She nodded slowly. "I'm just scared to start again. I've lost everything I ever had." Daniel looked out at the horizon. "You still have your baby. And you've got fight in you. That's more than most people ever get." Their bond grew quietly but deeply. There were no grand gestures, just shared dinners, soft laughter, the baby's giggles, and the feeling that maybe, just maybe, 2 broken souls could help each other heal. But things took a hard turn when Daniel got laid off. The construction company downsized, and just like that, his only income disappeared. For days, he tried to hide it from Claire, pretending things were fine. But she noticed the silence in his eyes. "Daniel," she said one night, "you've done enough for me. Let me help this time." He shook his head. "You've been through too much already." "Exactly," she replied. "I know what it's like to lose everything. And I won't let you face that alone." The next morning, she put on her old nurse's uniform, still faintly smelling of smoke, and went to the hospital. She asked for her job back. At first, they hesitated, but when they saw her determination, they gave her another chance. Weeks later, Daniel got a new job at a nearby construction firm. Slowly, life began to rebuild itself, not perfectly, but beautifully. Claire started saving, Daniel fixed the old house, and little by little, they became a family. One rainy evening, almost a year after they'd first met, Daniel found Claire again on the porch, holding Emma. "Funny," he said with a smile, "how the rain brought us together." Claire looked at him, eyes soft. "That night, I thought I'd lost everything," she whispered. "But I didn't. I found you. I found home." He stepped closer, wrapping his arm around her shoulder. "Sometimes," he said quietly, "hope doesn't come with sunshine. It comes with rain." As thunder rumbled in the distance and the rain began to fall again, they stood together, no longer broken, no longer alone, proof that even in the darkest storm, kindness can light the way home.